What is up, travelers? Welcome to my kitchen in Seoul. I'm back in Seoul for a month now before I actually moved back to Europe, and I figured I've been traveling so much, so it's time to actually settle down a bit and enjoy the domestic life. So that's what I'm gonna do now for a month, but of course I can't stop myself from looking at flights. I've really been wanting to share these techniques with you for quite a while. It's just been hard to just sit down and make this video, so now I'm gonna do it finally. I have my computer here, which is what I'm staring at, so you're gonna see me and the computer, so high tech. So in this video, you're gonna learn two main things. The first, actually kind of three things. The first thing I'm gonna teach you, just so you know why you want British Airways points and why they're valuable, is some of the best redemptions in the program. So this includes on British Airways and their One World partners like Japan Airlines, Qatar Airways, Cathay Pacific, things like that. And the second thing is how you actually earn these points. So which credit cards are best, what's the fastest way to earn them, and how can you do it as cheaply as possible. And the third point is how can you transfer them to the airline and how does all that work. So firstly, let's talk about some good things to know about British Airways Executive Club. First thing is you're gonna need an account to search any space. Of course, accounts are free, so all you need to do is sign up with your email and you're ready to search. The second and very, very important thing is that British Airways has a distance-based award chart. I'm gonna put up a picture here of the different distances, and then you can go to gcmap.com, which is a great website where you can just enter the airport code. So you can do, like, for example, LAX-JFK, and then it will show you the distance of the flight so you know how much it will cost with British Airways. Obviously, you're usually looking to maximize the different categories of distances. So if you're in the 2,000 to 3,000 mile category, you might as well try to get a flight that's super close to 3,000 miles instead of one that's like 2,001 miles, because then you're paying the same price. The third thing to know is that you pay per segment on British Airways. So let's say you want to fly from New York to Paris via London. You're going to have to pay for New York to London as one flight and New York to Paris as another. So it's going to add just take the points cost for a flight from New York to London. It doesn't matter how what the combination of New York to Paris would be. It's just one leg New York to London and then separately one leg London to Paris. The next thing to know is that fuel surcharges are very high on British Airways long haul flights. So while you can fly all their One World partners via their program and other partners like Alaska Airlines, on long haul, you will generally want to avoid British Airways except on the flight I'm going to show you today, which I'm planning on redeeming for. Last thing that's good to know is that British Airways has low change and cancellation fees. So if you want to make any changes or you regret your booking, you can cancel and the taxes and miles will be refunded to you. I've done it several times, so you don't have to feel like it's too big of a commitment or risk when you make one of these bookings. First, you go Executive Club. You're gonna need an account. Oh, now you can see all my personal info, but that doesn't matter. Then you click Spending Avios, which is basically miles. It's just their word for miles. And then book a reward flight. And it's so funny because I just go in here straight away because I literally search almost every day on this site. Just I waste so much time searching flights that I'm never ever gonna book. But in any case, the first route I'm going to show you, which is such a great value, is flights within Europe, is where it's super cheap. So let's just check. We want to go from Copenhagen to London on British Airways. Now, really here you're going to have to compare it to the retail price. Sometimes it's a good deal, sometimes it's not. I'll just select a random date, but pretty much British Airways has the cheapest short haul flights you can possibly get with miles. This also works on Iberia, flights within Asia. The only exception is flights within North America that start at 7,500 miles one way. But here, look how good the availability is. There's seats on almost every single flight except this one, which doesn't have business class. But let's say we want to take a humane departure time of 10:30. Then we just go in here and there we see our price. So these are all the options that we have with the word seats. We can click here to get more information about the flight. So it's operated by an A320, no stops, blah, blah, blah. And here we see the price. So it's just 4,000 miles plus $25, which is such a great deal. And even in business class, although British Airways doesn't have an amazing short haul business class, it's only 7,750 Avios, which is crazy cheap for business class on a 2-hour flight. So then you just click continue, go through to book it. and that's it. Now, there are similar values to be had in Asia. So let's check flights for this Friday. Do we have anything? Yes, flights available. Okay, so here we have an option from Tokyo to Nagoya, 1 hour 10-minute flight for 4,500 Avios. Now this is the standard price on partners, so sorry I confused you a bit with the British Airways example, but this will be the standard price, and then you pay just $6 in taxes. That's crazy good. Now let me show you some slightly longer flights, and one of my personal favorites, which is going from the Middle East on Qatar to Europe, and you're going to want to stay like east of Germany, so France, the UK. Unfortunately, the prices are going to be much higher, but you can just take a short flight into Europe and you're going to get these good prices. So let's just check Gothenburg, since I am so excited that Qatar are launching flights there. The award availability is amazing. So they start flights in the beginning of December, and let's just check March 27th, and then we want to go business on these longer flights, of course. British Airways does have mild surcharges on Qatar Airways flights, but what you're going to notice when I show you soon is that British Airways has the most insane fuel surcharges on their own flights. So you're going to want to avoid those at all costs and fly their partners on longer routes. That's not a problem though, because we all love Qatar Airways here. So here's just an example. 37,500 miles for a 6-hour flight, and you're going to get the same price from Stockholm and Q Suites, Frankfurt, all that. And then the taxes will be about $280 one way. You can get lower taxes if you go from Doha, so let's check Doha to Gothenburg on the same day. Let's check it out. What is the price? This fuel surcharges should be lower, and then of course you might not want to stay in Doha, so you can continue to Oman, an amazing country. You can go to India, the Maldives. Yeah, here you see 37,500 Avios plus just $127, which is such a great value again for Qatar business. Love, love, love it. Let's see if we get another good one. We've checked Cathay, but we have some good values on Sri Lankan actually. So let's say you book a flight to India, you want to go to Southeast Asia as well. So you can fly from Colombo to Bangkok. Not sure if you want to do that in economy or business. I guess it depends on the aircraft type and the difference in the cost. One thing to note about Qatar though is that their flights from India have really high surcharges. So you're going to want to fly Qatar to India and then maybe fly economy to Doha and continue in business, because the India to Qatar sectors for some reason have insane surcharges. So you're just going to want to avoid them. But yeah, here we see 3 daily flights from Colombo to Bangkok for 20,000 miles in business plus $160, 3.5 hour flight. That's on an A330, so lie flat bed. That's such a good deal. And these are just some examples of the great values and the great business class experiences you can get with this program. So our next route, which is the big one in British Airways first class, leaves from Kuwait. And speaking of Kuwait, I want to just say sorry to anyone who was offended in my last video. I genuinely didn't mean anything bad against Kuwait Airways. I've never tried them, but I'll have to try them soon. And yeah, I shouldn't have spoken too soon about them being a bad airline or something until I've tried them. So I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, now I'm probably going to be going to Kuwait. Likely not flying Kuwait Airways though, but this is the route where I'm going to redeem. Let's check all the details here. So when we search first class, we're going to select first class down here. Here's the incredible value. This flight is just under 3,000 miles, which means in business class, it's 31,250 miles for a 7-hour flight. Keep in mind, this is off-peak, so British Airways will change their prices based on if it's peak season like summer or Christmas holidays, but generally most dates are off-peak like this. And this is the price. As you can see, the fuel surcharges are moderate, but they're not as bad as other British Airways flights. So I'll show you an example soon. So that was Kuwait to London, and then in first class, here's the craziest value. 42,500 miles plus the same number of fuel surcharges in first class. So you're paying just about 10,000 miles extra to upgrade on, let's just verify the aircraft type. We have the 747 Queen of the Skies. Talk about an incredible value. Now let's just, what was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna show you a route that is a little more extreme with the surcharges, just as a comparison. So here we have JFK to London, a bunch of options. The flight is just 6 hours and 45 minutes, so it's shorter flight time than the one from Kuwait. But as you can see, even in business class, it's 50,000 miles plus almost $600 in surcharges. So it's crazy. Obviously, that's not a great value, especially when you're redeeming 50,000 miles. And let's compare first class. We have New York to London, $780. Go to Kuwait instead, guys. Also, as always, this is not a fault of British Airways, but the UK does have very high departure taxes. So regardless of which airline you're traveling on, regardless of which program you're redeeming from, redeeming for flights from the UK on long haul will generally be expensive. So maybe hop over to Ireland or mainland Europe if you're not going to be paying for your ticket, because it's just really tough otherwise. But yeah, here you see going the other way is $460, which most flights will have these high surcharges, so that's not great. Now I'm actually curious. Let's check, for example, going from Sydney to Bali, because I was just in Bali this weekend and I saw Qantas 737s there and I was like, oh my god, I'm so close to Australia. I've only been in Australia once for one day, so that's pretty much yesterday or a few days ago was the closest I've come to Qantas 737s in a long time. This is a great value, 12,500 miles plus $66 to go all the way from Sydney to Denpasar, Bali. Some other airlines, of course, we can check South America. There's some good values to be had. We can go on American Airlines, anywhere they fly. We can go to Canada, Mexico. Loads of great exploring to do. And again, don't forget about Alaska Airlines, because you can go from California to Hawaii for super cheap. And there's just so much to explore. So explore the chart and go here, as I'm going to show you, to greatcirclemapper.com. Let's say I want to go from Helsinki to a few places. So I'll check Helsinki to Tel Aviv, Helsinki to Dubai, Helsinki to Delhi, Helsinki to Bangkok, and Helsinki to New York. And then we search and we just see all the distances here. So what this tells me is that going super long haul isn't a great value. So even though Helsinki to Bangkok is right under the level for 5,000, it's still going to be expensive. But I see here that Helsinki to Dubai is a great value because it is just under 3,000 miles, so it's going to be a good price. Helsinki to Tel Aviv, not so good. It's 7 miles over 2,000, and that hurts because we're going to be paying the same money as would be, or the same number of miles as we'd be paying for a much longer flight. So this is just a good way to check which routes are good options. Then we can also say, hey, I want to go from Madrid to where do we want to go? To Tunis, if there even is a flight on that route, or Madrid to Lisbon, and then we can add those. And right at the bottom we see, okay, Madrid to Lisbon should be super cheap, and Madrid to Tunis should also be a good value if that flight exists. And again, just refer to the distance-based chart, keep searching this, and you're bound to find some really good sweet spots based on where you live. So now the question is, where do you earn British Airways points? Because these are so valuable, as I've shown you. Let's just compare what a revenue ticket would be on some of these routes so you understand just how much value we can get. One way in first class, let's just take the same date as I did last for convenience. Yeah, so one way, Kuwait to Heathrow. So let's just pull out our calculator. And first, let's deduct the taxes. This is the cash cost, or the additional cash we'd pay. Now we just divide the cash, which was, wow, this is a mess. Approximately this much divided by the miles that we're paying, which gives us 10 cents per mile, which is an incredible value. So if we get 10 cents per mile, and let's say we get a sign-up bonus of 50,000 miles, that sign-up bonus is worth $5,000 in British Airways miles. So you can see how easy it is to get incredible value out of these sign-up bonuses. And now I'm going to tell you which cards you're going to want to use to get the most British Airways points. And of course, you can get other points as well, but this is generally a good tactic. Alright, so in this video, I'm just going to talk about cards that I have. There are other cards where you can earn points. So the first card, and this is a limited time offer, is the American Express new gold card. And this card has had a huge transformation because it went from being quite mediocre to one of the best credit cards in the US, if not the world. So here you can see the public bonus is 25,000 miles after you spend $2,000 in the first 3 months. You can also get a rose gold card for a limited time. The card is in metal, which is so cool. Then the best part is you earn 4 points per dollar at US restaurants, 4 points per dollar at US supermarkets, 3 points per dollar on flights booked. This includes the taxes you pay on award flights. You get a dining credit, an airline fee credit, all this stuff, which really offsets the annual fee. There's no foreign transaction fee, so it is an excellent card for any of you that live in the US. As always, unfortunately, this card is only available for people who live in the US, but the best part is, listen closely, via your friends' referrals or my referrals, if you want to be that nice and use my link, you can get a 50,000 point sign-up bonus. So you don't get 25, you get 100% more, double 50,000 points for the same $2,000 minimum spend in 3 months. This is a limited time offer, and this bonus is very rarely publicly available. So I really encourage you guys, if you've been thinking about ways to get into credit cards, or even if you just don't have this credit card yet, now is the time to apply because 50,000 points is amazing. You've seen it can get you more than a British Airways flight in first class. It is worth $5,000 if we use the same value as I used for my British Airways ticket, and that's just for signing up for a credit card. So although I know it's scary sometimes, you can watch my other videos explaining my credit card strategy, but this is such a good card. I signed up for it years ago. If you're in Sweden, you can get the Swedish Amex Gold card or Platinum card. I'll put the links down below for that as well. You'll get a sign-up bonus that's equivalent to about almost 10,000 British Airways Avios on the Gold card and almost 20,000 British Airways Avios on the Platinum card. So that also gets you quite some good flights, and you can really earn a lot through spending. So it's definitely not hopeless if you live in Sweden. That is how you redeem British Airways points for the best values, how you find the best values just by searching the distances, and then as I showed, you simply put in your route. You can click through the dates to see if you can find availability, and that's pretty much how easy it is. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments and I'll try to answer. I might also do an Instagram live answering these questions. If you want to earn British Airways points fast, don't forget there is this limited time deal for 50,000 points from American Express in the US, which you can get only using someone's referral link, and I really appreciate if you use mine. You'll get 100% more than the public bonus, and I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know if you want me to do this with other programs, show you how to redeem, how to earn the miles, because I spend so much time every day doing this stuff, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of patience and practice, and I feel like I can just very easily share my knowledge with you, what I've learned, so that you guys can hopefully do this much easier and travel just like I do. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it as always. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and until I see you all next time for a review, fly safe.